Hi there, you are one of my students in my online TOEFL course, the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT, and you completed my integrated reading practice test. I just read through the essay and I figured out your score. Your score here is 2.5 out of 5, 17 points out of 30. When I was looking at the rubrics, there are a couple of things that stood out to me. Your response demonstrates a misunderstanding, or you have omitted the overall connection between the reading and the listening passage. You've not demonstrated understanding of how the information in the lecture is connected. So there's some things that you've said that just weren't entirely true. So you're having some trouble understanding information in the reading and the listening passage. And that's why I gave you the score I did. So what can we do, if anything, to improve your writing right now? Remember that when you're summarizing, you want to make sure that you're accurately summarizing the information. So you say the author in the reading says the employers in successful businesses should encourage their employees to read some useful training materials and do not waste time in writing these materials and reports. Meanwhile, the speaker in the lecture summarizes the 3 needs of successful businesses. It disagrees with the points mentioned in the reading passage, right? So let's go over here. What does it say exactly? We got to make sure we're good on the understanding of the information first. So the reading has 3 things. So arranging meetings, reading required materials, and making sure employees bypass the stages of the writing process will make more companies efficient, right? So there's 3 things: meetings, reading, and then not following the steps of the writing process. Okay, so if we look at what you've written, so employees should encourage their employees to attend all meetings. You can say read, so read all the useful training materials and reports. And maybe here say, and not waste time in the writing process when writing materials and reports. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't think you need this. I think however is going to work better here. So however, the speaker in the lecture Okay, you could probably say this. I think this exactly expresses what the relationship is. You weren't able to do that with what you wrote. So the author in the reading passage says that employees in successful businesses should encourage their employees in successful businesses we'll say it like that, should attend all meetings, read all the useful training materials and reports, and not waste time in following the steps in the writing process when writing materials and reports. However, the speaker in the lecture contradicts the successfulness of each of the tips mentioned for successful businesses. That's it. So we have what we know as the relationship, which you weren't able to state for whatever reason. And that's important. The first paragraph is very, very important. All right, let's take a look at your second paragraph. You say, firstly, the author in the reading passage thinks that staff should attend all firm meetings and employees should arrange a great number of meetings to discuss important problems which can promote employees' efficiency. Yes, that's good. What's more, I don't think we're adding. We want to show that there's a difference here. So I'm going to add this word in there. In contrast, the speaker in the lecture believes that short meetings are useful to solve some controversial issues, while some long meetings can help discuss product issues. But is that what the lecture says there? That's the problem. So let's take a look at the lecture here. The lecture says limiting meetings you schedule. It says short meetings can be useful here, but long meetings are usually unproductive. Leaders often spend too much time reading introductory material and participants will eventually stop paying attention. So what you've said is not true. So we have to say, in contrast, speaker believes that short meetings are useful to solve controversial issues, while some long meetings can be unproductive. I think we got it there. That's probably what you have to say there. So now I think we've gotten it straightened out. So firstly, the author in the reading passage thinks that staff should attend all firm meetings and employees should arrange a great number of meetings to discuss some important problems which can promote employees' efficiency. This is good. In contrast, the speaker in the lecture believes that some short meetings are useful to solve some controversial issues, while long meetings can be unproductive since the speaker tends to spend too much time going over introductory material. Probably put that in there too. In addition, speaker believes that employees generally will stop paying attention if the meeting is too long, so long meetings should be avoided. All right, let's take a look here. Third paragraph. Secondly, according to the reading passage, successful companies should provide employees with some reading materials. Managers ought to guide the staff to pay attention to the main ideas of materials rather than all the information. On the other hand, in the listening passage, speaker believes employees should not waste time to read full articles. In contrast, they should try their best to find the main point and important examples. You're getting there, but it seems like I think you're getting your information a little bit mixed up. This could be a note-taking issue because the reading passage is saying that employees should read all the required materials. How do I know that? Let's go over to the script. If you look at the listening passage, it says, actually, let's go to the reading passage here. It says employees should be provided with supplementary reading materials that will help them to perform their jobs. It says employees focusing on the main and minor details in the assigned reports are always encouraged to read all documents in their entirety. That's what you did not say. But even though that's at the end of the paragraph, that is an important point. And you left that out. In fact, you kind of changed the meaning of your summary, so we have to make a change here. Managers ought to guide the staff to pay attention. I'm going to say to that's kind of what you want to say. So not rather than all information, what you have said there is false. But if you say managers ought to guide staff to encourage workers to read everything in their assigned reading materials, if you said that, that would actually be accurate. Okay, let's move on. On the other hand, in the listening passage, the speaker believes employees should not waste time to read full articles. In contrast, they should try their best to focus on the main points and important examples. I think that's okay there. The way that you have that, I think the lecture is actually pretty accurate. All right, in this fourth paragraph, you say, thirdly, according to the author, staff should use some essential steps to finish reports. Furthermore, a speaker says that a business document should follow some stages. So we're not getting it again here. So let's go back to what it says in the reading. It's saying when they're assigned to write a report or proposal, they pretend like they're in college, they try to write the document, and they use all the required stages in the writing process. These employees should not try to separate the steps in the writing process because it is too time-consuming. They should write the document all at once. So you're not saying that. You're misrepresenting this information. So that's part of why your score is so low here. You might say something like this. They should not follow the essential steps of the writing process as they learned college. If you said that, I think we have it. So we have, thirdly, according to the author, when staff are writing reports, they should not follow the essential steps of the writing process as they learned in college. Following all these stages of the writing process is too time-consuming, the author in the reading passage argues. Furthermore, conversely is better here. A business document doesn't follow any stages of the process. A person has to follow the stages. So we have to rewrite this. Says that you could say that. Says that when employees are writing business documents, they should follow some stages in the writing process, such as writing outlines, rough drafts, and final drafts. I think I would say that too, and I think we're in pretty good shape there. Okay, when we get to the conclusion needs to restate what the relationship is. So if you have to look at what you did in the introduction, then you try to restate that in the conclusion, you should be in good shape. But you didn't really catch in the introduction, you weren't able to actually catch what the relationship was. So the reading is arguing that successful businesses, employees should attend all meetings, read all materials, and not waste time in following the steps of the writing process. Then the speaker contradicts the successfulness of each of the tips mentioned. So you have to show what that relationship is. If you said that, that's pretty simple. To sum up, the lecture disagrees with each tip for business success mentioned in the reading passage. That's probably good enough there, and that shows kind of what the relationship is. All right, so for you, the main thing is you actually have a fairly good writing style. I mean, you understand how to put sentences and words together. Your punctuation's pretty good. But the most important thing is when you're summarizing, you cannot misrepresent the information. You can't say something agrees when it disagrees. So you several times, I think, in your essay, you weren't accurately explaining either the points made in the reading or the points made in the lecture. And that's why I ended up giving you the score that I did, 2.5 out of 5 or 17 points out of 30. Now, if this were the final exam, it is not, and I will give you full credit for doing this, but let's take a look at what your grade would have been. You're not going to be happy on this one. But remember, it's got to be accurate. What you write has to be accurate. You cannot change the meaning of anything. That's going to really cause you trouble when you're summarizing. All right, let's take a look here. So integrated writing, I'm putting you at 2.5. So if this were the final exam, I would give you 70% out of 100 on this particular writing project. So what do you have to do? I think your organization is actually pretty good. You understand how to structure your writing, but just make sure on the midterm exam that you are 100% accurate in explaining the information in the reading passage and in explaining the information from the listening passage. And let's take a look at the essay one more time, and let's see how we did it. Now, what I did here is what you wrote, I've changed it to show you how you can get this score. Or, of course, 100%. All right, let's spell check the document first, and then we will read it one more time and make some changes. Okay, we're good. All right, here we go. Make sure I'm recording here. Okay, we're good. So the author in the reading passage says that employees in successful businesses should attend all meetings, read all the useful training materials and reports, and not waste time in following the steps in the writing process when writing materials and reports. However, the speaker in the lecture contradicts the successfulness of each of the tips mentioned for successful businesses. Firstly, the author in the reading passage thinks that staff should attend all firm meetings and employees should arrange a great number of meetings to discuss some important problems which can promote employees' efficiency. In contrast, the speaker in the lecture believes that some short meetings are useful to solve some controversial issues, while long meetings, 60 to 90 minutes, can be unproductive since the speakers tend to spend too much time going over introductory material. In addition, the speaker believes that employees generally will stop paying attention if the meeting is too long, so long meetings should be avoided. Secondly, according to the reading passage, successful companies should provide employees with some other reading materials. Managers ought to guide their staff to encourage workers to read everything in their assigned reading materials. On the other hand, in the listening passage, the speaker believes employees should not waste time to read full articles. In contrast, they should try their best to focus on the main points and important examples. Thirdly, according to the author, when staff are writing reports, they should not follow the essential steps of the writing process as they learned in college. Following all of these stages of the writing process is too time-consuming, the author in the reading passage argues. Conversely, the speaker says that when employees are writing business documents, they should follow some stages in the writing process, such as writing outlines, rough drafts, and final drafts, which will help these workers to write these documents in a more efficient and timely manner. To sum up, the lecture disagrees with each tip for business success mentioned in the reading passage. And that's it. There we go. So thank you for completing this particular writing project.